What's up everybody, Super WRX fan here for another car review. This is the 2011 Mazda MX-5 Miata. This is the Grand Touring model that also has the suspension package on it. And so this is basically a fully loaded Miata. And so yeah, this is the first time I've driven a 2011, one of these new ones. And I love this new happy front face they put on it. It looks like it's got a big grin on its face, and it looks really cute. I mean, you know, but it's still good looking. It doesn't look too much like a chick car. You know, it's slightly aggressive. It's just, it looks like a happy car. And I love the design of it, and this paint color is really nice too. I'd like to thank Harrison Auto Sales for hooking me up with another car to review for you guys. So the interior of this car is simple but great. You have a nice leather wrapped wheel here that has these 3 spokes, and the spokes are a little high up to be comfortable in the 9-to-3 position. It's something I'm sure I can get used to, but the wheel isn't particularly great design, doesn't feel that great in your hands. It's just a simple, thin, leather-wrapped wheel, and but you know, I can't really complain. It's basic, and that's just the way it is. This car also, as you can see, doesn't have any kind of screens or anything. This is a Grand Touring model, which is fully loaded basically, so I do have the leather seats that are heated. I have the Bose sound system in this car. This is also the retractable hardtop model, which means you can put the top up quickly, and you have much better insulation than you would with a soft top, and it gives it a little more of a finished look instead of having this rag on top of the car like you see with most convertibles. So as far as space is concerned in this car, now this is a Miata, which everyone knows are famously small, but they've actually done a lot to make these cars a little bigger and more comfortable than the previous generations. And I have driven the older Miatas, and this is a huge improvement. For one thing, you don't feel like you're sitting quite as low in this car as you do in another kind of, you know, older Miata or other small little sports cars of this type. So you have a pretty good view of the road. You don't feel intimidated by people in Toyota Corollas that are so much higher than you. But there still isn't a ton of room in here. You know, my elbow space is pretty small here. I don't have a whole lot of room to move about here. You're sitting pretty close to your passenger. Everything's very within close reach, which is nice. You know, all the air controls, the radio controls, everything is really close. But you know, there's not a whole lot to stretch out. I mean, obviously, top up, you have unlimited headroom, but you know, for just driving around, you might feel a little cramped in this car. I'm only 5'9", and you know, I feel a little cramped. So if you're a bigger guy, this probably isn't the car for you. But it's a great car. I really like it. I mean, you have nice leather here, you have leather up here, you have a little cup holder over here that is pretty small, but you could probably fit something in there. You have 2 cup holders here too, and you have another one over there. So 4 cup holders in a 2-seater car. More than enough space to put anything you want. Otherwise, there's little ingenious little things like this leather armrest that comes out of the cup holder area. You have some storage back here to put a few more things. And that's about it. I mean, you have a very simple stereo with a little, you know, LCD readout, and you have a basic volume knob, tune knob, just, you know, pretty basic stereo system here. The gauge cluster in this car is beautifully simple as well. That's what I keep seeing about this car. The way it was designed and thought out is beautifully simple. It's simple, but it looks great. You have the big talk to your left, you have a big speedometer to your right. The only thing that I think is a little strange is the air vents are extremely small. You have 4 of them here, and they're all pretty tiny, and you know, I don't know how this would do as far as heating or cooling the car down pretty quickly, but I'm just going to drive the top down because that's the most fun anyway. Alright, so let's take this car for a drive and see how it does. This car is all factory, all stock. This car is actually available from Harrison Auto Sales currently. It only has 2,267 miles on it right now. So it's a very brand new car almost, and it feels that way. Induction noise with this motor. This is all stock, but you get this nice sound from the engine that's a little growl, and it's pretty cool. And of course, with the drop top, you have these wonderful views of and that adds to the driving experience, even though it's not part of the car. Just taking in the whole environment around you is just great for any kind of backroads driving experience. And so while I'm on this back road, let's talk about the handling now. So this car, the steering is a little too light for my preference. It's sharp though. It's a very sharp feeling wheel. You know, the suspension is very sharp and planted. It's very eager feeling. It wants you to push it, and you know, it's very willing to just, you know, be pushed to the limit. I mean, it's very flat in the way that it takes corners, and it has good low-end torque too. I mean, it's fun to rev out this motor. It has a red line that's well over 7,000 RPMs, but it has good torque down low too, so you can still really enjoy it. But I mean, it's just a joy to drive on these back roads here. It's just so much fun. You can just tell how, I mean, this car is about 2,500 pounds or so. This one is a little bit more because of all the upgrades it has, but it's a very light feeling car. It feels very light on its feet, very nimble, very sharp and precise, and just, it's a joy to drive on these back roads. I really like it. And I mean, some people might complain 167 horsepower and 140 some foot-pounds of torque is not going to be enough whenever your Toyota Camry V6s have almost double that. But it doesn't matter. This car is so light and nimble, and it's fun to rev this engine out. It's such a smooth revving engine that who cares if it doesn't have a ton of power. This will do 0 to 60 in about 7 seconds. If you're looking for a fast car in a straight line, this is not what you're looking for. You're looking for a muscle car or something like that. If you are looking for driving fun like the BRZ, which is another slow car compared to Toyota Camry V6s, but it's just so much fun. And this is the same way. If you just want to just tear up a back road and just breathe in the sun and the air and everything and just enjoy your surroundings while having a great driving experience, this is the ticket. You know, it's really great to have the convertible and to also have a retractable hardtop so that you don't have to give up any of the conveniences of a hardtop. You can put the hardtop up when you want it, and then whenever you want to do convertible, you have that as well. It's just, and the ride in this car is great. Now, I noticed a little bit of body roll going into that corner, so there is some body roll. That's easily fixed. This car has the sports suspension with the Bilstein struts, and this also has the limited slip differential in it, so it handles even better than a standard 2011 Miata would. But the ride is very compliant. Even on rough back roads, it's not bad. You rev that motor out, it sounds great. It almost has like a Honda 4-cylinder kind of sound. Yeah, this is of course a 4-cylinder, but it sounds really great when you rev it out. And it's just, this is just fun. This is just, you forget about all your problems, you forget about everything going on, and you're just focusing on the driving enjoyment, the beautiful surroundings. It's just, it's really wonderful. I've always been a fan of convertibles, and so I'm naturally inclined to like this. I love having the wind in my hair and everything. It's just gives a really carefree experience. But anyway, I'm going to keep driving this car for a few more hours and give you a better idea of what it's like to drive over a longer period of time than just a few minutes. Alright, so I've been driving this car for a while now, and my updated impressions of the car. Well, first off, these seats are comfortable, but they're not the most supportive. They don't really have much bolstering at all. So, I mean, you kind of just slide all over the place in these seats, but they're comfortable. So, you know, it's not that big of a deal. I just wish it was a little more aggressive. Otherwise, though, I mean, this radio is actually surprisingly good, considering, you know, I thought that a Bose system would be, you know, good. I mean, obviously, because it's Bose, but in this car, it's pretty good for what it has to work with. Basically, 5 speakers, and it sounds really, really good. The shifter in this car is very nice as well. It has a great, easy action, but it's not vague at all. It's very precise, but it doesn't take a ton of muscle like the BRZ does. The pedals in this car has great throttle response. I really have no complaints about the pedals. They're perfectly placed. Really love the way the pedals are set up in this car. So yeah, I mean, while I've been driving this car the whole time though, I've never once said, wow, I really wish I had more power. This power plant is so much fun to rev out that you just drive this thing and it just sings to redline. It's just enjoyable. This is really a great car. I absolutely love it. And I know some people may think this is a chick car and that might scare them away, but don't let that scare you away. This is a fantastic car, can be enjoyed by anyone And it'd be a real shame if people passed up this car just because of the reputation it may have. It's an excellent car. It's very reliable. These things run forever. They're durable. Like I said, it'll age well. These are just a spectacular car, and they're still really cheap too. I mean, you know, this one is low 20s as it sits right now, at almost a brand new, fully loaded car. And I mean, you know, you can get one a few years older and get them really cheap. You can buy one for 500 bucks that's 20 years old. You know, it's just whatever you want to do, but these are really great cars. But yeah, guys, that's about all I have to say about this car. It's fantastic. It's a ton of fun. If you're considering one, drive one. I'm sure you'll love it, and this would be a great car to drive. I mean, as long as you can give up the practicality of not having any back seats and it being a small car, I mean, it's so much fun. Another thing about how small it is since it's so small, you feel like you're going faster than you are. I'm doing like 40 miles an hour right now, and it feels like I'm going faster. It gives you more excitement because of how small it is. And, you know, just with the razor sharp handling and everything, this car is just, it's really a ton of fun. Really one of the best driver's cars I've driven. I love this car. And, you know, everyone wants me to compare it to the BRZ. Would I rather have this over BRZ? No. The BRZ is more practical. I think the BRZ's power range is more enjoyable. The BRZ really rips once you get past 6,000 RPMs. This really doesn't have any kind of VTEC feeling or any kind of surging sensation. It just kind of has the same consistent power delivery all the way up to redline, but that's nothing wrong with the car. It's just a smooth power band, but it's really fantastic. You just have to drive one of these to understand just how good it is. But yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate Harrison Auto Sales big time for allowing me to drive this car today. This one is for sale right now, so if you like it and you're in the area, give them a call. I have their information in the description, and you can come check this car out for yourself. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and take care. I'll see you next time.